Elliot.
And I'm Lady Laura Simon.
And man, we're good to be here again. We're just so happy to always be able to come to you and sit together. I mean,
Yeah,
we just enjoy this time.
we do. And we love seeing you.
Yeah. And so, if you've been with us for any amount of time, that what we talk about here on Life That Matters is like as many practical things as we can punch in to 30 minutes.
As many practical things.
So we've talked about our children,
our kids.
Which both of us have adult children.
Yes.
So we've been talking about them.
Yeah.
And
there's something else.
Issues.
And all their concerns.
We talk about marriage.
And widowhood.
Talk about friendship.
And single people.
We talk about taming the tongue.
What you should and should not do.
We do. Girl, let me tell you. We get it in.
Yeah.
And
we hope that we are helping you as well.
Yeah.
Because it's helping us.
Yes. And we hope you're enjoying the time, we spend together. And I want to put it out there. Now, you can write in. Mm-hmm. You can even call in to the station.
Yes.
And say, those girls on Life That Matters, I want to ask them. Mm-hmm. And then
we'll be happy to answer you.
Yeah. We would do our research.
We'll do our research.
And we'll have fun with it.
Yes.
But the bottom line is we will tell you whether we like it or not. Mm-hmm. What thus saith the Lord.
What thus saith the Lord.
Now, you might think it's a funny thing for me to say whether we like it or not. But if you think about it, all the things that God has put in here, and we're supposed to obey those, not everything is easy.
And not everything is fun to do.
Not everything is fun to do.
Yeah.
That whole part about sacrifice.
And that whole part about loving everybody. I'm just going to keep it real.
That part about controlling your tongue when you have something you want to say and should be said.
But you can't say it.
But you bet not. You're not even supposed to think it.
Yeah, you better not say it.
See, all those, we are very honest and transparent and open with you.
Because what if you could read my mind?
That would not be a good place to be. up in there.
Yeah.
Now, for example, I have never had a problem with cursing. The reason being, I never heard it. Mm-hmm. My parents literally did not curse. Mm-hmm. My mother's strongest word, now get ready, hold everything, hold on, was, John Brown it. And then she would literally excuse herself. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, John Brown.
Now,
I'll be John Brown.
Yeah,
okay.
We were already, in school, whatever. We knew people were cursing, but we never ever heard it. So it never became a developed part of my vocabulary.
Mm-hmm. My parents didn't at all.
Yeah.
But the people that I was around, they dropped it every now and then, like the babysitter or stuff. But really, when I heard cursing? When I went to college.
When you went to college.
When I got to Grambling. I had never heard it like that. Yeah.
So it was not a part of what I do. So the verses, that talk about cursing.
No big deal for you.
No big deal for me.
Your sin may not be my sin.
There you go.
Which we learned about, that we can't be talking about people because what you do, I might not do. Mm-hmm. Might not struggle with. Right. But what I struggle with, you might not struggle with.
There you go.
And vice versa. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, better be careful. Because your tongue will get you in trouble.
Ooh, in a minute. Y'all know that. You could probably think of something right now that you should not have said. That you want to say, did I say that?
Yes, and did it come back?
Boomerang.
Boomerang to you.
Yeah. So we try to talk here very practically.
Because you didn't see it coming.
That's right. At all. Okay. All right. Okay. So because God is all about loving us individually as we are. He's our Abba Father. If you didn't have the experience of having a daddy, right? You have one in God.
You do.
You have one in God the Father, you know.
You
and
do.
so it's a personal relationship, but it's one that we could talk about with each other. That's why we have sisters.
Yes.
Huh? So we're not going to even do our normal little commercial
Advertisement
stuff.
and commercials.
Yeah.
Nah.
You can look at other stuff. You
Yeah.
can look on Amazon and look up Laura Simon.
Yep.
Is it Laura L. Simon?
Nope, we took
Just
the
Laura
L out.
Simon.
Just Laura Simon.
Right. You can look at Sharon Norris Elliott on Amazon. You can find our books. You know, all that.
All that.
All right. So we're
All
going to
that.
get right into what we've been talking about. And we've been talking about walking in love.
In love.
Right. So it's all about love, right? And we are trying to get through the 5th chapter of Ephesians, which in my Bible has a heading that says, walk in love.
Yep. Walk in love and wisdom.
Okay, so walking in the Bible, unless it's literally talking about somebody ambulating down the street, when you see the word walk, it is talking about how to live. Right. Oh my goodness. We are only at verse 11.
11.
So we're going to try to get a little further. Oh my. I don't know how far we're going to make, but that's okay.
It's okay.
Because we'll be back next week. Okay.
We will.
So, walking in love, verse 11. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. That's actually where we stopped last
That's where we
week.
stopped.
All right. So we're at, look, we're further than we thought. We're at verse 12.
Just a little. Just for show.
For it is a shame, but we're still talking about that verse. It is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret. So those people who are doing the unfruitful works of darkness, right? So something that's unfruitful does not produce anything that's good for you.
Right.
It's unfruitful.
Unfruitful.
Okay. And we've talked about darkness versus the light.
Right.
All right. So darkness meaning you're in sin. You're outside of the realm of being a Christian. You have not accepted Christ into your heart.
Right.
Basically, now I'm going to say it. Watch out. You're basically on your way to hell. Ouch. People don't like to hear about hell and sin.
No.
But guess what?
It's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to talk about it.
Yeah. Like, my students never wanted to talk about failing. But I had to talk about failing in order for them to understand passing.
Right. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You do.
So, yeah, without Christ in your heart,
Without Christ.
which is so easy. If he made it more difficult, I think we'd miss it. Doesn't cost anything. Doesn't cost us anything.
Doesn't cost us anything.
Doesn't cost us anything. It cost Jesus everything.
Everything.
All right. When he died on the cross.
On the cross.
And that whole Easter thing, all right, in case you don't know, that whole Easter thing about the cross of Jesus, he was God in the flesh, and he took our sin and punishment on him.
Yep.
It's like if you did something you know is wrong, you got arrested for it, you went to court. The judge said, you're guilty. And now I'm going to pronounce sentence. And then he got up, took off his robe, came down to where you were standing, and whatever the punishment was, he took it. That's what it's like.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
That's what it's like.
And all you have to do is say, God, I confess to you. I believe that You rose from the dead, and I'd love for you to take over my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Bang! Bang! You're in. Oh, so simple. So simple. All right. So now you're light
You're
instead of
light.
darkness.
Instead of darkness.
Which is basically where we are right here. Right?
Okay.
So, but all things, verse 13, are reproved. Oh, wait. But all things that are reproved are made manifest by the light. For whatsoever does make manifest is light. Now let's hear 12:13 in the Message.
Okay. So mine says, don't waste your time on useless work, mere busy work. The barren pursuits of darkness. Expose these things for the sham they are. It's a scandal when people waste their lives on things they must do in the darkness where no one will see.
Okay. So let's talk about some things that happen in the darkness.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Single ladies.
oh, girl.
If he only wants to pick you up after dark, run, Forrest, run. That's the problem. He only wants to be with you in the dark.
Uh-huh.
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 That's
What
the
happens
problem.
in the dark? All kinds of things.
Dark stuff
Dark
happens in the dark. Dark stuff happens in the dark.
Dark stuff happens in the dark.
Yeah.
That thing happens in the dark.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a police officer friend who would say that, he'd go to the schools and meet kids, say hello, introduce himself or what have you. He said those kids were not the kids that he was going to be dealing with after 9 p.m. He just knew those weren't the same kids. Because those were not kids of the dark.
Yeah.
It's the bad stuff happens
In the dark.
in the dark.
Yeah.
All right. And God doesn't want us to be darkness. He wants us to be children of light. Verse 14, wherefore he said, awake, thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Christ shall give thee light. That's what I was talking about, right? About accepting Christ. It's like you're coming up from the dead. It would just be amazing. It really just, I can't even describe, right? Verse 15, see then that you walk circumspectly. I love that word.
I do too.
Not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. We're still talking about walking in love. Because see, if God didn't mean us to be successful in this thing, in this walk with him, he wouldn't have taught us all of this. Walking circumspectly, I would say that means watch yourself.
Watch your step.
What?
Watch your step. It says, rip the cover off those frauds and see how attractive they look in the light of Christ.
Nice.
Wake up from your sleep, climb out of your coffins.
Ooh.
Christ will show you the light. So, circumspectly. So watch your step. Use your head. Make the most of every chance you get. These are desperate times.
These are desperate times. Get out of the coffin. Anything in the coffin is dead. Number one, it stinks. Number two, it's still, it's unproductive.
Unproductive and it's dark.
And it's dark.
Yep.
God wants us to live.
Live.
You see how, come on now. There's nothing dead about these two women in front of you.
Nothing dead. Nothing dead.
We're trying to have all
we're
the fun and
all our
Christ
chance.
that
All
we
our
can
chances.
have.
It says, use your head.
Use your head.
Make the most of every chance you get.
That's it.
We are making the most of every chance we get to talk about Jesus.
And it's because of the love of God.
Yes.
That we get
and live
to
your
do
life
this.
right.
See, would you please live right?
Right.
Please.
Root word of righteous.
Right.
in righteousness.
Right. I know several shows ago I had made mention of Samson,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so most of you might know the story of Samson. It's not a story, it's an account. He's a real person who really lived. And the thing about him was that he had a lot of hair. And he grew this hair. And the hair represented his strength and the strength that God was giving him. Okay? It wasn't so much that the strength was in his hair. The strength was represented. Right? By this hair. And so he was like under oath with God not to cut his hair. Because his hair represented who he was in God. Well, along came Sister Delilah. He fell in love with her now. He opened the door because Samson had an issue with women. He had an issue with women his whole life. When you read the whole story.
His whole life.
So now here's this beautiful woman who is a part of the enemy camp. But he's falling in love with her. So, right.
Poor Samson.
So the guys come to Delilah to try to figure out how to make Samson weak. She kept at him. He kept telling her something different. And then it was the third time, I think it was, he said, well, just weave my hair up. He's getting real close to the real representation of his strength by weaving his hair up, like braiding it or turning it like that, right? But he was already too close.
He's already too close.
To what his faith really represented.
Already too close.
And every time he
just
told
close
her something,
to the darkness.
Yeah, she did it. The Philistines are upon you, Samson. They would come in like they were gonna, kill him, and then he would break away and, run him off. Until she kept at him, till he finally said, okay, baby, here's the real thing now. I'm being serious. If you cut my hair, I will be like any other man.
But you know what? Can I ask you a question about that? Because even as a kid, as a child, I just thought, you're the stupidest guy ever. Because if this person keeps asking me questions, and whatever I answer, she does it.
Yes, she did it. The word to despise something means I don't really give it the importance it ought to have. He despised the representation
of his hair.
He did not. He was living among the enemy. We talked about that in the last show as well. When you hang around, matter of fact, it's here. When you hang around with the wrong people, they end up influencing you rather than you influencing them.
Because he was a Nazarene.
Yes.
So what was he doing with the not Nazarenes?
Yeah, well, let's go there. Let's go there. Because that woman.
So then he was dealing with darkness with Delilah.
Yes, in the first place.
Dummy.
Dummy.
So he despising his hair.
Yes.
Dealing with Delilah.
Yes. All these D's, you see?
Desperate times.
Like the devil.
Like the devil.
Right?
And just missing all the divine things that he had.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, of course, she helped him to go to sleep on her lap.
Which was darkness right there.
Darkness.
We're supposed to be hanging out like that.
And shaved his head.
Dummy.
The Philistines are upon you, Samson. He got up just like he always did, thinking he still had his strength.
Can we time out there too then? So then, these are the dumbest people I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
Because, so then they shave his hair, right?
Okay, she shaved his head.
She shaved his head.
Or at least cut his hair.
Yeah. And so then at the end, we're giving it away because, we want you to read it again for yourself. But okay, so then at the end, when he kills everybody,
his hair starts growing
his
back.
hair starts growing back. So why did he continue to cut it?
So everybody's around is stupid.
That's what I'm trying to say. How dumb are you?
Yeah.
You tell her 15 million times, and finally you tell the truth, and then the dummies around let it grow back.
Yeah. And they put his eyes out also.
But his eyes wasn't the thing. They put his eyes out, but his hair grew back.
Right.
His hair grew back.
But they had him tied up.
His hair grew back.
Which is a good example of God's forgiveness.
It's a great example of God's forgiveness.
But
it also shows how stupid people are.
Yeah.
And how easily you can get into darkness.
Right. If you're not paying attention.
How
neither side was paying attention.
You said despise, and that to me that's also arrogant. How arrogant of him to tell it, not thinking they're going to do anything, even though they've done everything. And then how arrogant of them to let his hair grow back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just got a little excited. I'm like,
okay,
what?
Yeah, right. Everybody was wrong.
Everybody was wrong.
Everybody was wrong.
Okay, keep on with the story. I'm sorry.
So, my point in even bringing up Samson is that he was being blessed as long as he honored God.
As long as he was obedient to God.
As long as
and
he
the
kept
rules that
honoring
he
God.
set.
But we see that he was opening doors
to
the enemy.
Yeah.
Literally.
Inviting them in.
Which is what we do.
We
think we can handle, this little thing.
Can I say
over
this?
here? Yeah.
I'm always on a diet. I'm trying to change my lifestyle.
Okay.
And what makes me think I can have Doritos in the house?
I don't know.
See, that's what you mean by opening the door or unlocking the door.
Yeah.
I don't care that Tony likes the Doritos. Mm-hmm. I have a problem with Doritos.
Right.
So I ought not bring them in the house.
Bring them in the house.
Because I unlocked the door.
You unlock the door. And
we do it.
I spent this money on these Doritos. And they're just going to waste.
Just going to waste. He's only eating one a day. He is. He eats like 3 a day.
Is that? Right.
That's for those of you, because I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone when it comes to that. Right. I'm in therapy for food addiction right now. So I'm just going to tell you, pray for me.
And we have to do whatever it takes for us to stay on this path of walking in love is what we have to do.
And God provides us with people and things if we ask him. Mm-hmm. I saw something yesterday about, have you invited God into your weight loss journey?
Right.
I mean, I finally have, and there's a difference. Mm-hmm. It's amazing what happens when you invite God, into your journey.
Right.
Period. When you ask him to walk with you in love.
That's it.
He loves us so much.
He loves us, and he's waiting, but he's a gentleman.
Yeah.
So he's not going to force his way onto you.
Right.
Right? There could be habits that you have that are killing you.
Yeah.
Literally killing you.
Yes. Yeah, that's truthful and that's good.
Yeah. I have a friend who smokes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
and then you have a friend who overeats.
It's
bad for your heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad for your joints.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad for your mental health.
But see, when you invite Christ in, you're able to actually start saying it. Mm-hmm. And when you hear it, see, because faith comes by hearing.
Mm-hmm. Hearing by the word of God. And this right here is just a reminder. And so now I'm going to meditate on this even more so.
And that's what it means about walking circumspectly. There's that word again, circumspectly, watching stuff, not as fools,
Yep. Use your head.
but
Don't
as
watch your
wise,
step. Amen.
redeeming the time because the days
Yes.
are evil.
They are
right?
evil.
Okay, wherefore. So whenever we see wherefore, we want to say to ourselves, wherefore is that wherefore therefore? Okay, wherefore, out of all the other stuff that has been said, because of all of that, be not unwise,
Be
but
not unwise.
understanding what the will of the Lord is.
Ooh.
So now I've got to take the way I think about everything and put it in a list. Here's what I think about this, Lord. Here's what I think about this. And here's what I think about widows getting married or not.
Or not.
Here's what I think about weight loss or not. Here's what I think about, line it up.
Line it up.
And then go into the Word of God and say, now, God, what do you think
Yep.
about that?
What do you think about that? That's
And
good.
what we are supposed to be doing is changing our minds
Our mindset.
to think like God thinks.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's how we understand what the will of the Lord is. Verse 18, and be not drunk with wine wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit. How are we filled with the Spirit? Keep reading. Speaking to yourselves in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody in your heart to the Lord, giving thanks always for all things unto God and the Father in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Now, starting at being filled with the Spirit, the rest of that verse, chapter 6 is all about what it means to be filled with the Spirit. And that is where we will take up next time.
Next time.
This is Life That Matters. My name is Dr. Sharon Norris Elliott.
I'm going to sneeze, so keep on going.
And this is Lady Laura Simon. Please be with us next time. We love you.